Hello, everyone. My name is Julisa Thomison. Welcome to the AI Girly podcast. Today, we are diving into a topic that sits right at the crossroads of technology and education, the rise of artificial intelligence in the classroom. Our guest today is Alan Trinidad, a fellow classmate and the writer behind a compelling essay titled AI in Education Predictive Analytics for Student Performance. His work explores how this powerful technology could transform the way we support our children in the classroom. Alan, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to, just dive in and learn more about AI.
Hi, Julisa. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to everybody that's tuning in as well. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
All right, well, let's just jump right in. To start off, what drew you to explore the topic of AI in education, and what was the most surprising, eye-opening discovery that you found during your research, Alan?
So, what really drew me or what pulled me into this whole idea of AI in education was that it can help create a more personalized learning experience. I've seen firsthand how one size fits all teaching kind of doesn't really work out for everyone. And the thought of using tech to help out or to bridge that gap and help students understand one another really caught my attention and really drew my eye to see how this tech is really shaping out to be. And I was also fascinated how predictive analytics could catch early struggles before they become major setbacks. So as far as what was most surprising for me, was was essentially that, I think being able to catch things super early, like let's say somebody in seventh grade, stopping somebody from becoming super struggle, like a super senior or something like that. Um, Mind blowing.
Yeah, no, I think that's so important. I think kids struggle from an early age, and I think when they don't have the appropriate support, or maybe even, lack the communication skills to talk to their teacher on the kind of support that might help them, I
Hmm.
think these tools are great. And with predictive analytics, as you researched and shared with us in your essay, I think it's almost like a way to possibly create some sort of program to help this child. So I think you did great work on that. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Another thing that I found interesting in your essay, you talk about how predictive analytics. I'm so sorry. Give me one second. Look, technical difficulties. Let me see. So again, what I found, there was a strong point that you made in your essay, is you mentioned AI isn't about replacing teachers. It's about augmenting their abilities. Can you explain the difference between augmented intelligence and the more general idea of AI?
Yeah, of course. So, the whole thing about predictive analytics is that it should technically be used as a guide and not a replacement. So it's great at spotting patterns and trends that might not be obvious at first glance. So that's what that's there for. But at the end of the day, it can't really replace that human judgment. The teachers bring emotional intelligence, cultural awareness, and personal connections that AI just doesn't have, nor will they ever have, at least to my understanding.
Mhm.
So while AI can provide useful suggestions, educators still need to interpret the data and decide what actions to take. It should act more like a compass rather than a GPS. It'll point you in the direction, but at the end of the day, it's up to the teacher, the humans, to decide how to move forward with that data.
I think you were so eloquent in putting that out there. It's so important. I think that people who are intimidated by AI, whether it be in education or in other industries, to realize that it's a tool and it's definitely not going to replace, that human touch. Again, like you said, it's data, and then we as humans interpret that data and decide how to integrate it, right?
Of course.
Especially in the classroom. So I think you do a great job, really breaking that down. You do also a great job balancing the benefits with the potential drawbacks of using AI. Um, touching on that point as previously. From what you found, what do you see is the biggest advantage and also the biggest risk?
So for me, what I learned was that the biggest advantage is early intervention. Predictive analytics can flag students who are struggling before their grades take a hit. Gives the teachers a chance to step in with that support, whether that's tutoring, different materials, or just, more one-on-one attention. It shifts education from being reactive to proactive, which could really
Right.
change the outcome for a lot of students. As far as risk, there is a bias. So if the data it's pulling from is already skewed by, historical inequalities like race, income, or even access to resources, it could end up reinforcing those patterns instead of breaking them. And
Wow.
once AI makes a prediction, it can shape how people, treat the student. At the end of the day, with any AI in any industry, it's all about the quality of the data that it's given. So, there's always a risk, giving bad data, bad results.
Wow, that's interesting. Redlining in the AI education system. That's a crazy concept. But again, you do a wonderful job of really explaining the benefits and the risk. I guess, just the way that it's interpreted by the teacher, the staff, the education um, system that's actually utilizing the AI, it'd be up to them to really, I guess, be careful not to to I guess run with those bias, I
Yeah,
guess is
of
what I'm
course.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Crazy to think. I didn't think something like that could be a negative there, but interesting. Okay, so looking forward, how do you see predictive analytics shaping education in the next 5 to 10 years? And do you think that there could be, more progress, more evolution, so that there wouldn't be that risk of the negative bias?
Yeah, of course. So I think, with predictive analytics, I think as long as it starts to become more common in schools, which I do see and predict in the future, the better the data that it's going to get. The more advanced, it's going to become more advanced, more accessible. So systems will likely get better at tracking not just grades and attendance, but even engagement levels, like how often students participate, for how long, how well they're participating. And we might also see a shift towards real-time feedback where educators can act on insights almost instantly instead of waiting until midterms or finals. So I do see that technology like booming, within the next couple of years. I mean, we're already seeing it in real time, so the next couple of years will really show what that's about.
Wow. Well, I just want to tell you, I really enjoyed this conversation. I think I could talk to you and we could do, a series of these because you really did incredible work. This is meaningful research. And as a parent myself with kids in the education system, I mean, this is exciting and a little nerve-wracking too, but
Mhm.
I think that the positives definitely outweigh any negatives here. But anyway, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that you'll come back again and join us on the AI Girly podcast again, Alan.
Yeah, no, of course, it's been a pleasure, and whenever that invite comes, I'll be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for
Thank
the next
you.
podcast. Bye bye.
Bye.